All right, team. This is Charles Becco with Brooklyn Traders, and I want to thank everyone for being here today. So let's look at the charts and see what they got to tell us. All right, so we got Meta here. Looks like we strong weekly buy setup. I mean, the buy signal came all the way over here at $200. As you guys know, we put our buy alert right around here, close to $100, and there you go, 300% to the upside on Meta. I mean, we look good. I mean, do we get back up here to these previous highs? I don't think so. I'm not really sure. A lot of charts look like this, right? So if you look at, like, for instance, NVIDIA, right? Same kind of deal. And NVIDIA went even crazier, right? And this is literally all AI. I mean, all AI hype, right? I think this is well overdone, okay? I mean, the prospects that AI is going to kick in and do all this and that, guys, I'm just not really sure, because the technology is still very early, and realistically, to the point where AI is going to have a real, tangible, impactful impact in our lives. I mean, for most Americans that are not involved in like some high technical fashion, I don't know if this justifies 400 or 500%, in just a year's time, right? I don't know. Okay. Now, of course, there's always a demand for chips. Okay. Let me not, downplay that, right? I mean, you have Bitcoin, you have computers, the servers. I mean, again, as we become more of a technically fluid and technically dependent, technology dependent company and people just in our lives, right? Technology is just gonna like be more pervasive in everything that we do. From smart homes to smart cars. Shoot, one day we'll have smart clothing. Will we even need doctors? One day will they just inject us with a bunch of nanites, right? That'll just fix and repair whatever our ills and ailments will be, right? So I'm not saying that there isn't cause for celebration when it comes to NVIDIA. I'm just saying that anytime I've looked like a chart like this, it always ends in disaster. Okay, so I think NVIDIA especially is a little bit cooked here. Okay, that's what I got in NVIDIA. Again, I was looking at Meta. I don't know if we're gonna hit all-time highs in Meta. Yeah, I just do not think so. Just don't think so. Okay, let's take a look at Tesla here. Okay. Daily buy signals, hourly buy signals, weekly buy signal, right? First weekly buy signal that we've got on Tesla here. As with all the buy signals, I would definitely wait for a pullback. I'd look for a pullback to 255 before establishing any position here on Tesla. Let's look at Microsoft. Again, Microsoft. Okay, so here we have some kind of rotation in tech, right? Because, the previous laggards have become the leaders, right? And so when you're thinking about like Meta, you think about like a name like Netflix, right? That was kind of like lagging for a while. I mean, these were the very first ones to like, get that healthy, insane bounce, right? You can tell from the chart that it's going to be a while before Meta gets back up here. I mean, Netflix gets back here, right? I mean, we peaked above the 200 here and then kind of came down. Guys, I know I'm kind of all over the place here. I know I'm supposed to be looking at Microsoft, but as I'm looking at the chart, I just see things. Right now, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't look good for Netflix here. The peak above the 200 on weekly, get down, bounce, and now you're back under the weekly 200. Yeah, it just doesn't bode well for Netflix here. Yeah, and we're just on short setups with everything, right? So I'm thinking this is some kind of news because, like, to go $38 to the downside in a day is something. Didn't have time to look, but again, we're just looking at the charts. Let me go right back to Microsoft. I know I'm a little bit scatterbrained right here, but again, we're having rotation from names that were weaker, that were stronger, that were now is look like it's weakening or softening a bit. So Microsoft is one of those names because pretty much when the entire market was like going to oblivion, Microsoft and Apple were the two charts that I feel you could find some strength in, right? And so the weekly looks okay. The daily looks like it's kind of a little bit played out. We made all-time highs here, but guys, to me, this is looking kind of like a double top. So unless this is a long cup and handle, and then we make all-time highs here, again, I would look for this to play out more so as a double top here on Microsoft on a weekly basis, and I'd look for us to give up some more gains here on Microsoft. I mean, let's see if we get down in the weekly 200 before we can establish a position on Microsoft. I also have to talk about the seasonality. Okay, we are in September. And September and October are some very volatile months in the market, leading into September, October, November. These are just some volatile months that typically, the last 3 years, we've been more volatile to the downside here. So let's take a look. So that's all these names. Let's look at SPY here. Just like a mixed bag. I mean, we made these highs here, these yearly highs. Again, we do have like a weekly buy setup, daily short setup, hourly buy setup. I mean, it's just all over the place here. It's all over the place here. Expect some choppiness going forward here. Just expect some choppiness, right? Do we come all the way down here to the daily 200 at 416? Not really sure. I'm not really sure what to say on SPY. So let's skip it for now. Oh, okay, QQQ. Give me 1 second. Guys, I do these analyses live, okay? Live. Okay. Give me 1 second. I mean, overall, it doesn't look like the market wants to go down. But, I mean, pretty much the market kind of looks the way it looks, right? Because of just AI, right? I mean, we had a mega bounce because of AI hype. And I'm just not really sure if that's enough. I'm not convinced. Okay? I'm really, really not convinced. And I could look at another chart and I'll tell you why. But again, you don't make your bones by arguing with the chart, right? I mean, the chart to me looks like it wants all-time highs, but there's just so many significant headwinds that are out there. I mean, due to the fact that if you go to any vanilla bank out there, they're offering 4.5 to 4.25 interest rate on a savings account, right? The fact that the interest rate is so high at the banks lets you know that inflation is kind of here to stay, right? And if the inflation story is not, any different, and then again, if you look at the Fed and what they have to do to control inflation by continuously hiking rates, which will hurt the market, I mean, I just don't think that really bodes well, But again, the market could stay, delirious or nonsensical a lot longer than you could stay solvent, right? So sometimes you just have to play the chart that's in front of you, right? But overall, in Qs, you really can't argue with this. I mean, structurally, the chart looks sound, right? I do want to show you something here. Okay, it's been a long time since I've done this, but once you kind of take a look at this, right, I want to bring you back here. So this is a market that I believed is very similar to ours. This is a 2000 stock market, right, where we made a high, we went down, then we bounced like a basketball, right, from whatever 72 all the way up to 102, right, where it kind of looked as if we could, potentially go this way, right, and then You know, if you kind of look at this, right? I mean, it looks kind of similar. I mean, you do see kind of a short monthly squeeze here fired off on the Qs, so it is mixed signal, right? Because in the monthly, right, you see the monthly 8 is over the 21, which is bearish. I mean, which is bullish, right? And then you do see that with lots of different names. You know, you do see that with lots of different names here, and so, I mean, yeah. Again, this is the monthly time frame on SPY. MACD cross, squeeze. Squeeze looks like it wants to fire to the upside here. Um, Again, it's just really, really hard to just argue with the charts at this point, right? But you know, once you, it's kind of a thinking man's problem, right? Where it's like you know so much about what's going on that you just have questions, you know. And so overall, this is going to be one of the very first times that I'm going to admit, guys, I'm not really sure what's going on with the market. One thing that I can tell you from experience is that the times when the market looked like it was going to make all-time highs, and we can talk about any kind of name that you mean, like whether it be Tesla or Apple or blah, 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 blah. Anytime I looked at the market and I was like, man, this thing looks like it wants to go to the moon, typically that's when the market would go to hell and I would lose money, right? And to me right now, again, two of the strongest names that really held the market together since last year, which was a bearish year, right? I mean, look at Apple. Weekly MACD cross to the downside. Looks like they have the weekly, 8 under the 21. So, I don't know. But that's just Apple. That's just one name, right? Again, Microsoft, again, looks like it's doing the same thing, right? Weekly 8 passing under the 21. But then you got names like Google, right? Something, again, that's been weak for some time now. And just look at Google. Google looks like it wants to kind of go and do something, right? And Google looks perfectly fine here, right? Look at Amazon. Again, another name that's been kind of beat up for a long time. And guys, Amazon looks okay here, right? Amazon looks like it. Again, Amazon was just down for so long, right? And now it looks like it's making an attempt and a run at all-time highs, right? But are we going to get there? I mean, we are convincingly, again, the 8 over the 21 happened way back here. Weekly 8 over the 50. Now you have the 8, 21, and 50 stacked positively. The weekly 200 is still kind of inverted, but, you know, this looks okay. On a daily here on Amazon, guys, this looks okay. I mean, how are you going to argue with that, right? So, again, it's a little weird. You're having kind of weak and strong elements in the market that are going in different directions, right? Because as you see Amazon and Google strengthening, you see Apple and Microsoft weakening, right? And so, because, you know, the market is really boiled down to a handful of tech names, right? I mean, if Tesla, Apple, and Microsoft is having a good day in the market's having a good day. And that's just how it is. And I think that is some of the problem, right? Because, again, we're literally just looking and we're analyzing 5 and 10 names in the stock market every day because these 5 and 10 names literally buoy the rest of the market, which I think is a gigantic problem and could be reason for concern down the line. Because, you know, if the rest of the market is in hell and we have 5 or 6 names that are doing well, then to me, that's not really representative of the market, right? This is just algorithms just looking at each other, you know, you could say looking at a handful of names, reporting positive data, and then just making buy and sell decisions based on that versus that looking the entire market and everything in all the different industries, right? Like the home builders, the automobile industry, airline industry, real estate, durable goods, consumer goods, discretionary, and really, you know, look at what's happening with rates and, energy and banks and finance. I mean, the market cannot just be these 5 or 10 names that we keep looking at, right? And so it's part of the reason why I have a lot of concern that, again, even though the charts are saying that we are okay, why from just, from an academic point of view, I have questions, right? I can't say it's weak. You cannot argue with guys. You cannot argue with the market. Okay, do you want to be right? Do you want to make money? Right? Amazon looks good here. Again, Amazon, Tesla, Google. Guys, these guys look good. These charts look good. Charts don't look bad. Okay. I think we did Meta, we did Netflix, we did Nvidia. We can check out AMD. Oh, look at the squeeze here on AMD on a daily. I would not be betting against AMD to the downside. Right. Looks like some kind of flag here. Again, 8 about to pass over the 21 here. Oh, no, I'm lying. The 8 just passed under the 21. Oof. All right. Is this a potential bear flag here on the weekly? Something to consider here on AMD. All right. The daily looks bullish. The weekly looks bearish. Which makes sense, right? I think we went through all the names on our list. For shits and giggles, let's look at Tilray, right? Something, a name that I've been telling you guys about, right? Tilray looks good here on the daily. Okay, 8 over the 21. Okay, 21 over the 200. 50 about to pass over. We're about to have a golden cross on Tilray here. Okay. We've been hearing some rumblings about, decriminalization here in the cannabis industry, right? So, team, that's it. I'm sorry, a little rambly, a little ranty. Overall, Google, Amazon, Tesla looks good. Netflix, Apple, and Microsoft don't look as good. And SPY and QQQ looks like it's middling, but again, unless there's a financial catastrophe, I mean, we should kind of stumble our way to an all-time high. But again, seasonally, this is the time of year, right, between September to November where things get a little dicey, all right? So Charles Becco, Brooklyn Traders, if you're ever in doubt, just buy some shares, man. All right? Thanks, and God bless. Hey, thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you enjoy this content, please check out our website at www.brooklyntraders.net. That is